Hello, welcome back. I'm about to get what I think is going to be a real humdinger of cold, so I'm sorry if I'm not looking or sounding great. Something I get asked about an awful lot is how to use eyeshadow palettes. Or people will say to me, oh, I can't do makeup, I can't even use an eyeshadow palette. And I think that people get daunted by them, whereas in fact they're really simple to use. Quite often palettes will have things on the back as well that show you when to use stuff, which is great. But you can use them however you want, and you can use them, what I've done is use two different palettes to do a kind of neutral natural eye. You can do a really smoky eye, you can use them as like a pale wash and use the darkest colour as a liner. So they really aren't something to be scared about, and every single makeup brand does some form of eye quad or eye trio. Basically it's just about choosing colours that you like or that suit you. Just don't think about the brand. Quality will vary, but go for the colour that you like. Go for something that suits your eyes. I'll put a few maybe details on that below because I'm not going to go into it now because I want this to be quick. But even palettes with loads of colours in are kind of made to be used in the same way, but just give you more variance. So, as with most times I do makeup, in fact every single time I do makeup, if I'm using an eyeshadow palette, especially if I'm using something that involves a dark eyeshadow, which both eyes does, I will put my eye makeup on first. So when you see me in a minute doing my eye makeup, I haven't got a base on. So next time you see me, I will have no makeup on, and then all of a sudden I will have makeup on, full makeup. But that is not to try and cheat you, that's just because you see me put my makeup on a billion times and didn't think you needed to see it today. I'm actually going to show you using this, which is the Mocha Latte True Colour palette from Avon. So with the palest one, you go on the inner corner, just on the upper, just above the socket line, because that will give something nice to blend into. And then you use the medium colour, the sort of rest of the lid and through the crease. And the thing with an eyeshadow palette, whether it's a quad or a trio, or as I'll show you in a minute, a bigger palette, as this is just a very basic one, you can way to use it. Then you have a contrast colour, which is here. For this one I just use it over the top, so it's flattering to my eye colour, so not going into the inner corner, just leaving that pale. And then you've got the darkest colour, which is there. And what I tend to do, because I like a black liner, is I use a black felt tip liner. Roughly. And then the darkest colour as a sort of liner. So the dark colour is to use to create a bit of depth. So you can either just use it as the liner, or you can use it more in the outer corner, up and through the crease a bit. And I'm using a really soft fluffy brush for this because it'll blend really nicely with the other colours. And then use a clean brush to blend out the edges, which will be really easy because you've put that pale colour up there. And you can use, if you feel like you need a bit of something to blend with, you can use that pale colour. And if you want a bit more definition on the inner corner, I'm using a sort of slightly stubby brush to just get right in there. Now, even though it's going to make me look odd at school pickup, I am going to use a different palette for the other eye, so you can see that they are basically, it's the same thing. So this is the Smoky Stories by Bourgeois, so we're going to ignore the highlighter in the middle because it just doesn't work for me, and use this the palest colour in a corner. And just above the socket, and you can go up to the brow bone if that's what you feel comfortable doing. This one, through the crease and all over the lid, and then a bit of black liner, very badly applied, and then this lovely dark colour there. And I'm just going to blend that out, and again you can go get your big fluffy darkest colour and think of it as a V on the outside corner if you are going to do a bit more definition. But this will vary for eye shape, so without looking at you I can't tell you, but as I say, this is a very basic, and you can see, I mean, they're pretty similar. If you want to add a bit more definition under the eye, then use the darkest colour and you're good to go. So I'm going to show you some of the palettes that I've got to hand and talk you through them. Let's start with the trios. So yeah, the L'Oreal one that I mentioned, if they still do this, then this is really helpful because they kind of go on your hair colour, and this happens to suit green eyes, so I really like it. And again, it's really simple to use. Louise Young does these gorgeous eye trios, which do come with a brush, which I have taken out, even though they're, oh look, really sweet, cool little brush. So this is Festival, and this is Studio 54, and Festival would be great if you've got blue eyes or green eyes. This is just, in fact, putting this on everyone. So you've got to think of it as pale colour, inner corner, this colour over the lid, and this colour I use as an eyeliner, and then to sort of smudge up at the corners, and it looks very cool. So again, inner corner, outer corner, and this is what we would call a sort of contrast colour. So it doesn't necessarily, you can see it's got some shimmer in it, and these two are matte. So you'd press this over the top of that and it is stunning. So those are the trios. You then have these, which I'm going to show you. I'm using one of these later. This is Smoky Stories in Tombre de Nude. And what they've done, I count this as a trio. They've included these highlighting shades. They would say that you should tap this on the inner corner and probably above the brow bone, but the glitter will just fall down your face in these. So I wouldn't advise doing that, but some people will love it. I keep running out of battery. So, Dior palettes, five couleurs, if you're going to be French, are like a real cult, high-end product, but it goes on the same principle. You've got the paler colours here, which can be the inner corner, above the brow bone, and then you've got these two which are kind of over the eyelid, and in fact I love this middle colour here, which is a kind of taupe. And then what's really nice about this one is it's got a black in it. This is 056 Bar, which, I mean, I got sent, I wouldn't choose it myself, but actually I love this colour, and it's really wearable. What I often find is, even if I get sent a palette that I wouldn't normally wear myself or I wouldn't have bought for myself, you can make it work for you, but you've just got to remember the principle of paler colour inside corner, darker colour, well, medium colour over the lid, through the crease, darker colour on the outside as a liner, all through the crease. So this is the one, Luminous Brown Big Eyes palette from Maybelline, which I really love. I love all the colours, which is falling apart slightly, but they're another one who tell you how to use it on the back, which is quite helpful. Let me see if I agree. And the way they tell you to use it is to put the pink, this hot pink, on the inner corner, which I probably wouldn't do. What I do with this one is I use this pale, then I use the brown all over the lid, and then I kind of push this in, and it's quite a bright colour, but I love that. This is one brand that I would recommend if you're on a budget, is Collection, and what they tend to do is they either come up, they've got nice cardboardy packaging. So this is the Smoky Collection, and on the back they show you how to do a smoky eye, and then what they've done is they've called these medium, dark, light. So they say put the medium shade all over the eyelids, brush the dark shade from outer corner and blend to the centre of the lid, and then use the light shade to highlight the brown bone and the inner corner of the eye. Same kind of thing. And me being me, I just use the colours I want. This sparkly grey does nothing for me, but I do like these taupey ones. So they're really good. And what I found with Collection is if a big kind of palette comes out from a bigger brand, they quite often do similar colours as a dupe, which I think is quite clever. So, and also they've got this, which, I mean, this was about £5, and so you've kind of got two 5-colour things, and again on the back they tell you how to use it. But these are just quite wearable and pretty, and you don't have to use them all together, and you don't feel like you have to use every single colour every time. And then when you get into bigger palettes, not the palettes that have sort of 16 or so, because they are almost there to cover every eventuality, but palettes that are a bit longer. So this is my trusty and favourite Louise Young palette. Again, you've got the lighter tone, the medium tone, the dark, and the contrast colour. So I use that a lot. This Hourglass I don't love, but you've got the pale, the medium, the dark, and you'll see that that's got a shimmer in it, so that's the contrast colour. So they look more complicated, but it's the same principle. And even when you get into something like the Naked palette or the Naked Heat palette, it's the same principle. You've got the light colours and the medium colours and the darker colours, but also you can see these here are the contrast colours. So with a contrast colour, it's often a shimmer, and it's often just looks incredible if you pat it over. Hopefully that has been helpful. I'm sorry it was really bitty because of my camera problems. I'm going to list all of these palettes that I've mentioned below, and if you have any questions, if I haven't covered anything. I just wanted it to be a simple video because it is really simple to do, but I know a lot of people struggle with it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.